In 2007, South Park aired one of its most controversial episodes yet, with apologies to Jesse Jackson. It's that infamous episode that tackles racism in a way only South Park can, with humor, bluntness, and some deeply uncomfortable truths. If you're a longtime fan, you already know that South Park thrives on controversy, poking fun at every topic that's meant to stay hush-hush. And racism, South Park doesn't tiptoe around it. It charges right in, asking all the questions we're usually too scared to ask. Let's break down how this episode addresses racism and whether Matt and Trey's fearless approach actually helps us reflect on our own prejudices, or just makes us laugh uncomfortably. Fair warning, things get pretty intense, and I guarantee some parts will make you cringe. The episode opens on Randy, who's about to embarrass himself and Stan in a big way. Randy's on Wheel of Fortune, and with only a few letters missing, he has to solve a puzzle under the category People Who Annoy You. The word on the board is N-G-G-E-R-S. Yeah, it's that word. The audience is silent, Stan is squirming in his seat, and Randy, in typical Randy fashion, blurts out the worst possible answer.
10 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
Well, I know it, but I don't think I should say it.
5 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
All right, I'd like to solve the puzzle. Huh? Oh.
The N-word. He says it out loud on national TV, of all places. Now, I don't know about you, but this scene is awkward enough to make anyone uncomfortable. Randy's obliviousness is kind of the point. He's not a racist, he's just ignorant. And that's what Matt and Trey seem to be hinting at. Most of us probably wouldn't say the word out loud, but how many times have we seen someone say something offensive just because they didn't stop to think? But Randy just doesn't get it. To him, this was a simple mistake, but to everyone else, it's an example of exactly why casual racism is so damaging. Randy becomes a local pariah, hated by almost everyone. It's both funny and painfully awkward. And, in a way, it shows how ignorance can cause just as much harm as outright hatred. After Randy's mistake, Stan's life becomes a lot more complicated. At school, he tries to defend his dad, but his friends, especially Token, aren't having it. Token, one of the few black characters in the town, doesn't find any humor in what Randy said. To him, Randy's blunder isn't just a mistake, it's a reflection of a deeper, unacknowledged racism that Stan just can't understand.
Listen, Token, my dad isn't a racist. He's just stupid, all right? He just blurted out the N-word, and it's no big deal, okay?
Well, actually, it is kind of a big deal, Stan. It may be a mistake, but you don't understand how it feels when that word comes up. So don't say it isn't a big deal.
Stan's attempts to apologize or make things right only make things even worse. Every time he tries to explain himself, Token shuts him down. And here's where things get interesting. The show doesn't shy away from showing how well-meaning people can still be offensive without realizing it. Stan's insistence that his dad didn't mean it that way doesn't help Token feel any better. The message here, sometimes intent doesn't matter as much as the impact, especially when it comes to deeply hurtful words. The episode is relentless in showing how one word can have so much power. Randy's public gaffe doesn't just hurt Token, it makes Randy a target too. The townspeople start treating him like he's got some kind of contagious disease. People give him dirty looks, mutter insults, and avoid him in public. South Park even brings in revered Jesse Jackson to serve as an unofficial forgiver of sins for white people who say the N-word. Randy's desperation to make amends is ridiculous, but all too familiar.
Apologize.
This plotline actually highlights a real phenomenon. People who mess up publicly often turn to visible, performative acts of apology to try and prove that they're not that kind of person. Randy's over-the-top apology to Jesse Jackson is a parody of how people seek forgiveness in ways that might make them feel better, but don't necessarily help the people they hurt. Jackson, in the role of King of Black People, a joke within itself, forgives Randy, but Token doesn't. Through Token's silence and refusal to forgive, the episode taps into something real. Token isn't asking for an apology, he's asking for understanding. And here's where the episode really digs into the uncomfortable truth. Token's pain isn't about what Randy said, it's about the history and weight that the word carries. Something that can't be erased with a single apology.
I just wanted to say I get it now. You know, after that little person talked at that assembly the other day, I understand how you feel about somebody saying the N-word.
So, black people are midgets.
God damn it!
Token's role here is powerful because he shows that racism isn't always about hate. Sometimes it's about ignorance. It's not just the people who hate others based on skin color who cause pain, it's also those who don't think about the weight of their words. Token's anger isn't directed at Randy personally, it's directed at a society that allows this word to linger. When Stan finally admits that he can't truly understand Token's experience, they both come to a quiet understanding. Token realizes that Stan doesn't get it, and that's okay. This moment is unexpectedly touching. It's rare for South Park to wrap up a story on a subtle note, but here they let Token have the final word.
Token, I get it now. I don't get it. I've been trying to say that I understand how you feel, but I'll never understand. I'll never really get how it feels for a black person to have somebody use the N-word. I don't get it.
Now you get it, Stan.
Yeah, I totally don't get it.
Thanks, dude.
Stan's journey mirrors a lot of real-life conversations around race and apology. In today's world, we see public figures make mistakes, apologize, and move on, while the people affected by their actions are left dealing with the aftermath. South Park captures this perfectly. Randy might be forgiven by Jesse Jackson, but Token's silence serves as a reminder that some things can't be undone with a quick "I'm sorry." The episode critiques this idea of public forgiveness, questioning who gets to forgive and who's actually impacted. It subtly points out that apologies are often more about making the person who messed up feel better than healing those they hurt. So what does With Apologies to Jesse Jackson say about racism? Unlike many South Park episodes that mock a social issue, this one actually tries to dissect it. Racism isn't always driven by hate. Sometimes it's ignorance, sometimes it's casual thoughtlessness, but that doesn't make it any less painful. The episode shows that even if someone's intentions aren't malicious, their words and actions can still be damaging. Randy's slip-up is a harmless mistake in his eyes, but for Token, it's a reminder of the racism he faces every day. This episode serves as a reminder that sometimes the worst offenses aren't committed by people with overly racist beliefs, they're committed by those who don't stop to consider the impact of their words. This episode is uncomfortable on purpose. South Park uses cringe humor to force us to confront the awkwardness of social conversations. Randy's cluelessness, Stan's failed attempts at apology, and Token's silent anger are all crafted for laughs, but they're also painfully relatable. How many times have we seen someone make things worse by trying too hard to apologize, or watch someone fail to understand why their actions were so hurtful? Humor is South Park's way of pulling us in, but the episode's uncomfortable moments are what makes it memorable. By the end, we're not laughing as much. Instead, we're left to reflect on the ways we might have been a little too much like Randy or Stan at times. Ultimately, With Apologies to Jesse Jackson asks a question we all need to think about. How much does intent matter when it comes to hurtful words? Randy didn't mean to cause harm, but he did. And Token's reaction serves as a reminder that good intentions don't erase bad outcomes. Here, South Park doesn't try to finish everything with a simple joke. Instead, it lets the awkwardness linger. Randy is forgiven by Jesse Jackson, but Token's quiet resentment is still there. Stan doesn't fully get it, and maybe that's the point. Some issues can't be fixed with a joke or a quick apology. In a way, the episode is South Park's challenge to us. Are we willing to look past our own intentions and take responsibility for how our actions affect others? It's a tough question, but one that's worth answering, whether we're laughing or cringing.